Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The video today is not going to be part of my Makeup and Mayhem series because this is an ongoing story. This is an ongoing investigation. It's still really new. The disappearance of ORRIN and Orson West. It just happened in December of 2020. So I don't want to take any focus off of looking for the boys by making it into a show with my makeup too. So that being said, in December of 2020, on the 21st, 4-year-old ORRIN and 3-year-old Orson West disappeared playing in the backyard of their California City home in California. Now, California City is in the county of Kern County. It is a city that has hundreds and hundreds of miles of just desert, the Mojave Desert. And what the purpose of California City, the builders built there thinking they're going to create a whole new metropolitan area like LA, and it's like 100 miles south of LA. And that fell through, and then it just ended up being a tiny little town with 14,000 people right there in the middle of nowhere in the desert. Despite it being such a small town, it is the third largest city in California for a land area, and because it's just hundreds of miles of desert, it's literally like tumbleweeds flowing out there. ORRIN and Orson were born Classic and Sincere Pettis to their biological mother, Ryan D., in Bakersfield, California. Sincere and Classic went into the foster care system in 2018 and were fostered by Trezell and Jacqueline West. In 2019, Trezell and Jacqueline West adopted ORRIN and Orson and give them the name ORRIN and Orson. Now, not that I agree with them, changing the babies' names, but for media purposes, and since that is their legal names, we're going to call the babies ORRIN and Orson. Trezell and Jacqueline have 4 other children. 2 of them are their biological children. 2 more children they adopted through the foster care system, and then ORRIN and Orson. Now, are you following me? Because that makes 6 altogether now. In September 2020, Jacqueline and Trezell, they moved the family of 8 from their Bakersfield, California apartment, and they bought a home in Cal City. And so allegedly, Trezell wanted to move away from Bakersfield, away from the people. Cal City was an hour away. It was in the middle of nowhere. He wanted to be more off-grid. He wanted to be more self-sustainable. He wanted to grow his own food. He was very much into that kind of organic lifestyle, allegedly. It's reported that Trezell West also sold musical beats on the internet. He reported that as giving him $10,000 worth of income when he bought the home in Cal City. Other than that, Trezell West and Jacqueline West are otherwise unemployed. They do stay home, and all 6 children were homeschooled. And they live off of government stipends that they are given for the 4 adopted children, including ORRIN and Orson. The children's ages range from the oldest one being 10 all the way down to the littlest one, little Orson, is 3. It is reported that they run a really tight household over there. Regimented friends of the family spoke out and said that they even had to raise their hand to speak, and it was military type raising. Now this is just alleged as well. On December 19th, 2 days before ORRIN and Orson were reported missing, Jacqueline and Trezell said that they took the 4 older children to their grandmother's for a short vacation, and they kept ORRIN and Orson with them because they were too little to go. So they were keeping the little ones at home. There's a lot of speculation on this, on why wouldn't they send all 6 to the grandparents' house? Did they not see ORRIN and Orson as part of the actual family? Of course, I don't believe that, because even in my family, my own mom, she loves all the grandkids at once, but it's also a lot easier to take little groups of them at a time. So maybe the grandmother can't handle 6 children all under the age of 10. That's what I'm guessing. So now that we have a little bit of a backstory on how many children, how they moved and had only lived in Cal City from September to December for 3 months when the boys went missing. We'll go right on into the story. So, and this is according to Trezell and Jacqueline West. At approximately 4:30 to 5 o'clock on December 21st, the boys, ORRIN and ORSON, were out in the backyard playing with chalk on the concrete, on the patio part, and Trezell was in the back part of the yard gathering wood in these empty lots that are on both sides of their house, and there's a lot of kindle wood, and it was cold out. He said he was going to make a fire in the house. So he was out getting wood, and he was there's a back gate, and he's on one side throwing it over, chucking wood or what have you. Trezell says he went inside briefly, he'd come back out, and the boys were gone. He said that Jacqueline was inside wrapping Christmas presents, and they thought it would be best to keep the boys outside with Trezell while she's doing Christmas presents. So Trezell went back inside the house, asked his wife, Jacqueline, "Have you seen the boys?" She said, "Yeah, they're outside playing with chalk." And he said, "I was just out there. They're not out there." He goes back out and looks for them. He comes back in, tells her he doesn't see them. He gets into his van. He goes and looks for them around the neighborhood. He talks to a neighbor on the other side, asks, "Have you seen my children?" And they hadn't seen them anywhere. And he comes back and he tells Jacqueline, "We need to call the police. It's getting dark and we need some help. We can't find the boys." According to Trezell and Jacqueline. That same evening, the police do come in and they bring in canine search dogs. They pick up ORRIN and ORSON's scent inside the home, but they do not pick up any scent outside of the home. They do search the surrounding areas and nothing is coming up so far. Volunteers, neighbors, they all get together. They search the same night that they're missing. That next morning, they wake up with daylight and they're searching again with the police. So they're searching. They didn't find anything, and this is when Trezell and Jacqueline are brought in for questioning. On the evening of the 22nd, the police do obtain a search warrant. They go into their Cal City home. They do take out various brown bags of evidence, a duffel bag full of evidence, and they do take in the family's white van for further testing as well. On the 22nd, the chief of police, John Walker, does an interview. He does tell us that the adoptive parents are cooperating, that the FBI is involved and have questioned Trezell and Jacqueline as well with their full cooperation. They do state that, or the chief states that none of the neighbors have seen the children at all at this point, which is a little weird. They had 6 of them, and they don't reckon, and no one spoke up at the time, said that they had ever seen them. So, on Wednesday, December 23rd, Ryan Dean, the biological mother of ORRIN and ORSON, shows up in Cal City to join the volunteers, join the neighbors, join the search. She does a media interview and she says that she feels the boys are there close. She says she does suspect the adopted parents have something, they've done something to the boys, or they know something. And you can see she's very upset and very, as any mother would be, looking and trying to find where her babies are.
They said that she said she was wrapping gifts and she let my 2 kids out in the backyard because she didn't want them to see the gifts. But you didn't let the other kids out. Where were the other kids? Why my 2 just go back there? At night, she said it was dark. And it's cold right now, so I know it was cold then. So I don't believe it.
So when did she tell you this? Where were you when she told you this?
I just came here 45 minutes when nobody was here. 45 minutes to an hour, and we knocked on the door. And it took them a minute to come, and he came out. And he want to say he's sorry and all that. I just don't feel in my heart that it's something. They're not.
Do you have a relationship with these parents?
I don't know them. I don't know them. They did something. I feel like they did something and they know something. They did something, and I feel my kids is somewhere around here. I can feel it, and I feel like they're in the house, and I feel like they did something.
And at this point, the neighbors and the volunteers, they're getting a little upset because they have not seen Jacqueline or Trezell at all during these searches. And they're putting some pressure on them at their home. You know, where are the boys? That's what we're looking for. Where are the boys? So the pressure from the community, the pressure from the Bio family, the pressure from all the volunteers that had been out on foot searching for ORRIN Orson finally got to Trezell and Jacqueline, and they did do an interview. And here's what they had to say.
We just want to thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless, and seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot.
So, tell us what happened the night the kids went missing.
Oh, okay.
From our yard.
Okay. It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard and keep them close. So I was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them there. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them, so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open, and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that didn't pan out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, most directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see anyone. So then I came home and I told my wife we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there, and we wanted to keep searching. But everybody came out in droves, and I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching, and we appreciate it, and nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody, and that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to thank you guys.
Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops. Call California's the city police department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this area. And I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved. We just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved. That she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children. And we named them, and they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys are doing. We should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's a part of the investigation. So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys, you talked to the police all last night?
Yes.
So you guys willfully gave them your
Everything.
technology,
Yes.
the car.
Yes.
How did they get a search warrant? Did you
I
guys?
don't see why they got one, but they got one.
Yeah,
we would have
they
let them
didn't
take
need one,
anything.
but-
We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house, though, did they?
Should have been out there the first day. Not right now.
Oh, well, I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it to us, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, and I guess, I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put. They have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask him to go help. They had to sit down.
Said nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
we
it's
need
not,
you guys here in case you have more questions.
I don't want you guys thinking that we
don't.
didn't try. We actually looked
tried.
before we called
We
police.
looked, yes.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing, and at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said.
5-ish.
5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search.
Okay.
It was within minutes.
I'm done.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide the pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay, that's fine.
A lot of people are speaking of this as, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each other.
Kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we wasn't trying to go, out here. And so we stayed inside.
Did you guys ever go out and search?
Yes,
we did. We searched before we called the cops.
That's
That's what we were saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, one of those streets over there. I said, did you see some little black kids?
You go that way looking for them?
That's the way I was going to come, but when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent going in and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard. And the back gate was open.
Out the backyard?
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
So you guys been unresponsible and left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
All right.
It doesn't make no sense.
Sorry, you guys were talking about your boys who you're,
Doesn't make no sense.
I understand. For a mother's intuition, I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just roam around. You know, these patches. They definitely, I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off of the yard before?
No.
They've never taken off before?
No.
Later on that same afternoon, police search the home again. They bring in lights that evening. They dig up spots in the backyard. On December 29th, Chief John Walker does another update. He lets us know that they found zero evidence when they dug up the backyard. He lets us know that they use luminol to look inside the van, inside the home. Nothing's found. He lets us know that he does suspect foul play. He lets us know that the adoptive parents were asked to take a lie detector. He did not let us know if they refused, denied, or if it was, or any sort of results from that. That brings us to the 29th of December. On January 11th, new surveillance footage comes from a neighbor, from another YouTuber actually, and the footage shows Trezell in the backyard, but no one else. It shows him chucking wood. It shows that he does go and get into his vehicle, and it shows him driving around for all of 6 minutes looking for ORRIN and ORSON. It shows him come back. It shows him stand in his front yard for 12, almost 13 minutes while he waits. It does not show him searching anywhere in the backyard. It doesn't show him searching anywhere in the front yard. It doesn't show Jacqueline at all until the police come, and then she comes out. So it pretty much lets us know that the adoptive parents are lying. There is no video of those babies in the backyard at all. You can see a dog walking around, so that shows that you would be able to see a toddler, 3 and 4-year-old toddlers around back there too. And it just doesn't line up with what the adoptive parents said in their interview.
Right there, I see him. What time is it? That spot that you see here?
1613.
Is that 1613? That's gonna be him. Okay, so we are at 1613:02, and he is in the rear of the property.
Just standing there.
He's just standing there right now. I don't see any kids.
So if you can see in the front, it's still light, it's still bright out.
Right.
So if any kids ran out, you would have seen it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
Even whichever direction they ran.
You guys see the date stamp, 12/21/2020?
Right. There's no way they could go that way. 3 directions they had to go.
I don't even want to know what the hell is he doing, bro. That don't look like throwing firewood over no fence. Is that it? If we would have seen the kids walking out this gate the same way we've seen him.
Yeah. Or out the front door.
Yeah.
We're looking for him, right?
Yeah, right now we're at 1620.
He's still back there. You can see him still back there doing, I don't know what.
No, look, we're able to see him. We could have seen the kids too, bro. They were in the backyard. He's claiming that they vanished from the rear. Okay, the light just turned on.
His house or the dogs tripped it. It could be any one of them, but is that gate still open over there?
Yeah.
That could have been intentional. Him leaving that gate open, like, oh, my kids went out that back, because he wasn't doing nothing. He was just walking in front of the gate where there's nothing there and walking in front of the. Where there's.
The light of the. Okay, so we're at 16:29. We just skipped over like 3 or 4 seconds.
Let's go back a little bit further, because right there at the 28 mark, the light in the front is not even on yet.
Not yet. But then the light does turn on. And we haven't seen no kids leave out that rear. Even if we did, we would have seen them come out to the front. Boom, the light just turned on now to the van. On the side of the van.
With the lights on back here, you could see through the fence.
You can see through the fence, yeah.
See through, total see
Yeah,
through,
you could see anybody running or whatever.
Yeah, we've seen all that. No kids left the house, bro. No kids left to the back.
The lights turn on in the back now. Yeah, it's off again. On. Off. On. What the heck? Which is off? He hasn't taken off yet.
Nope.
It's already been 15 minutes since he went in the house. He went in at like the 14 mark, right?
Yep.
So supposedly he ransacked the house and then ransacked the yard. But we haven't seen him ransack the yard at all.
So where's he at?
He's about to jump in the car right now, like at 33, I think.
Yeah, 33. So when was the last time we seen him in the back?
At 14, somewhere around 14.
Yeah.
14. Mm-hmm.
So that's, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And
There's a light. There's a light blinking on the van.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there it is.
There it is.
Side door opens.
Doors open.
He is in no rush.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna run to jump in your car to take off, why would you sit it from the passenger side? Like, you know how hard it is to like jump over the center console? Like, right, you're rushing, like.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, this hella suspect,
Yeah,
bro.
but he never went walking down the street at all.
No, he didn't even
Nope.
walk to the front of the street to see if they're on the
He didn't go
front.
back into the rear to look for him. Nowhere.
He didn't look behind the side of the car, like maybe they're on the other side of the car. Just
Yeah.
he didn't sit from that side.
At the end of the road over here, it tees off to what, an open road, or is that the main road? When you go back like this?
38.
This is where he
All right.
turns.
So he left at 16:33 and he's back by
Look how
16:38.
fast he's coming back. He's punching it, bro. Look
Yeah,
at
yeah, he's moving.
Look at that. He's from that street to here in what was that, 3 seconds?
Yeah.
4 seconds?
Here back.
Fast.
Done.
Hard. Look how far that other end of that other street is.
Man.
He did not.
The biggest thing, bro.
That area, he didn't search. That's where his kids would have been.
Yep.
Driving back towards that way.
Yeah, now he's getting out the other side. Is we never seen no kids leave out that rear.
Unlike he walked towards the street.
Yeah, that's when he's gonna go right there and he's gonna call the cops and just stand there forever, bro. He just stands there for like what, 13, 14 minutes?
For a while.
For a while, bro. He just stands behind that.
And, you know, he literally stood outside waiting for the police to come than he did looking for these babies that supposedly either walked out of the gate or someone come in and took them from the gate. But there's no video evidence of that, but we can see Trezell. And there is a lot of drama that surrounds this case. There is a lot of he said, she said. There is a lot of crazy, some far-fetched ideas. When you stick to just the facts, with what we do know, we have to stick with that and make decisions based on that. But I mean, there's so much speculation and allegedly going on in this, down to supposedly they were taken from their biological mom and kind of forced and expedited into this adoption. There's been talks. There was a private investigator that was working pro bono out of San Diego on this case, and he publicly quit and said that he ran into multiple roadblocks from law enforcement. There's a lot of criticizing on law enforcement in this case. You're talking about a police department that only has, I think, 12 or 13 actual officers in the entire department. There's a lot of speculation that the boys never left Bakersfield, because there's a lot of speculation that they weren't seen at all, or very little, or if they were seen in Cal City, it was only 1 or 2 of the children and they were all boys. So it's hard to tell what ages people did see certain children. There's reports that when they were in the backyard playing with chalk, that their family dog was named Chalk, or are they talking about actual chalk that you draw with on concrete? But all of this speculation and all this stuff that's going on between other YouTube channels and just from the public, you know, it's a lot of just speculation and it's a lot of noise, and it takes away from actually searching for these little boys. It's reported that a lady that was involved with the financing aspect of the purchase of the home in Cal City, she become pretty close friends with Trezell, and she has come out publicly stating various things that at first it was kind of in his defense in a way, that he was a good guy and so on. And then she found out that 2 of his children were missing, and she referred back to he had only told her that he only had 4 children, when at the time he was purchasing the home in Cal City, he actually had 6 children. And she was adamant that he said it more than once that he only had 4 children. And she said that she personally loaned him money, $5,000, for the closing costs of their home. It has also said that it wasn't really for the closing costs, that the Wests had the closing costs, but it pretty much drained them, so they needed money to actually move. But whatever the money was for, she claims to loan to him $5,000, and that he has paid back $3,000 of it so far and has kept to his word. But that he did tell her more than once that he only had 4 children when he really had 6 children. But, you know, all of this is alleged, all that kind of bullcrap. The only thing we know for certain is that ORRIN and ORSON were reported missing December 21st, 2020. There has not been the last known sighting, or not publicly known sighting. They are still missing at this moment. It's over 45 days now that they're missing. If you do have any sort of information, or if you just want to share the video to get the word out, or I will list in the description box multiple other YouTubers that are following this with their boots on the ground. I've used footage from AV.WATCHMEN's channel. He's a good one to follow. Crenshaw Incorporated is also good to follow. These are people who actually are doing their own search for these children, whereas when you're with a police department with 13 people, then they need some help. I will list the phone numbers that you can call if you have any kind of information or anything that might be of substance. They are getting upwards of 1,000 to 1,200 a week in calls, and they are investigating every single one of them because as far as we know at this moment, there is no persons of interest or people. There's no suspects. We just have 2 little boys missing that we're looking for. So you can call the Cal City Police Department at 760-373-8606. You can call the direct FBI that is involved in this case, their LA field office, which covers Central California, and that's where this is, Kern County, at 310-477-6565. And there is a reward up for any information linking or leading to the whereabouts of ORRIN Orson, and it's all the way up to $120,000. So that's out there too. My own personal opinion on this is I think an accident happened to these little boys, and I think that Trezell and Jacqueline are trying to cover it up. I don't think that they purposely, out of evil intent, did something to hurt these babies because that was their paycheck. So if they didn't sell them for one lump sum of money, and in California they do get paid even after adoption happens. Where I live here in Kentucky, you do not get that payment once you adopt the kids. But in California you do, up until the age of 21. So that is how they actually could afford to even buy homes and cars and anything like that, was because of the government stipends that they were guaranteed to get, with the children that they adopted. So I don't see them purposely killing them doing something to them, because that would take their paycheck away. So I feel like something accident happened, and now they're really trying to cover their butts in some sort of way. Their lack of emotion, they seem more irritated that they're having to do anything with all the other drama surrounding it. They can't look for their adoptive children that are supposedly just missing and kidnapped, but they are out shopping at adult novelty stores. They are out walking dogs looking like Blade Runner and with their big sticks, and they're doing some odd things, but they're not actively out here searching on boots on the ground, and never have. And that speaks volumes. That tells me they've already settled in their hearts and heads, what has happened to these babies. I feel like they wanted to direct a lot of the investigation and the volunteers and searches. They wanted to keep them right there at that Cal City home, which, of course, the detective in me says that means we need to go back to Bakersfield, where they come from, and be looking around there. And the community has come together in Bakersfield and Cal City. They have held various candlelight prayers to just bring more recognition that these children are missing. They don't want them called vigils because, that means are remembering these babies, but we're not just remembering, we're trying to find them still. They're still missing. Now, I don't buy into the police not doing enough of their job yet, because there's no proof of that. The police do not tell us and update the public on active investigations for reasons, because that can mess up and hinder their investigation. This is what happened in the Letitia Stotch case, where they didn't say anything until they arrested her. So hopefully they are building cases, and they do have some sort of person or persons of interest that they will arrest when the time's right. And you have to understand, just because we can speculate what we see here, in order to get a conviction and actual punishment through the court of law, you have to have undeniable evidence that something happened. And it takes a long time to build that up and to make sure that, you know, if this goes to trial, that these people, whoever done something, is punished. So that's what I'm hoping on, and that's what I'm going on. So I have seen lots of interviews with this police chief, and it is a little abnormal how many he has done. And I'm not sure if it's because he kind of likes to be in front of the camera, because he is an actor. He's played different roles. Of course, he said that is completely separate from his law enforcement career, but he has a lot of years into law enforcement. I think it was 28 years, and he retired from LAPD, and then he just took the role over as chief of police in Cal City just a year prior to the boys going missing. So he would come out of retirement just to be the chief of police of a tiny little force. So I don't think it was on his radar that he was going to be, you know, broadcasted everywhere. But he is giving us as much as he can give. There's a really good interview from a journalist of their local news there. I think it's 23 ABC News there, Bayan Wang. I can link that in the description box below, so you can get your own feel of Chief John Walker, also known as Johnny Walker. So that's it for my video today. Please let me know if you have any other information, or if you come across anything that I haven't mentioned in the video. If you have even a disagreeing opinion on it. This case really hit me, and it hit me hard, to the point that I felt like I needed to get the video out before I could even process all of it too. So do me a favor and like it, and let me know if you do have anything else you want to add to this story. Alright, thanks guys, bye.